Hello and welcome to episode 23 of our Timberborn 1.1 Iron Teeth playthrough here with the Timberpunk 2 map on hard mode, cycle 20, day 8. We are still paused for a very good reason, and that is there's an unstable core going off in 0.2 days, which I somehow managed to miss in the chaos of last episode. So let's find out right now what that is. Ah, this one. Okay, well, let's make sure this isn't going to cause an absolute cataclysm when it goes off. It looks like that is going to combine here and here, and it doesn't go down. Okay. Well, in theory, this is probably okay, because this is already handled coming out here, and this seems to be decently okay. Well, it's not like we can do anything to stop it anyway, so, there you go. Bad tide in 0.2 days. We've got a lot of stuff to do. We always have a lot of stuff to do. That's just what this playthrough has been. But right here, as I had mentioned before, we do need to be planting some additional canola. So I'm going to go ahead and get these in place. We have these soybeans that are slowly going to be grown over here and over here. And now, okay, that gave me that same warning twice in a row. So that's weird. Okay, it got turned around. At any rate, this area is looking pretty good in terms of improving functionality. It's not looking pretty good in terms of, well, actual appearance. And at some point we probably should do something to fix it. But there's a couple things that we need to take care of right now, regardless of changing anything, and that is to make sure that all of these trees are actually reachable by a lumberjack flag, and it looks like they are on that side and that side. So I think they're just not cutting because they don't have the capacity. It's not enough lumberjacks, not that they can't reach it. So I guess now it's time to just watch this thing explode here in the next 0.5 seconds. Alright, there we go. 16-day bad tide. A large chasm has opened up and immediately filled. I don't know how this is going to affect the outflow. I would imagine that this is going to cause some interesting problems, especially now that we have the bad tide started and we have the bad tide drain, so on and so forth. We will see what happens. I think we've taken care of most of the bad tide drains in this general area. I did want to just make absolutely sure this doesn't leak and it's good. You know, it seems like flow-wise, a lot of this is going to come through here and then go even faster through that side, and then also through our exit point here. And I did want to get rid of this. Oh well. Can't do everything all at once, despite what you might think. We're making a lot of power now, which is great. The only bad thing is these aren't really connected at all. So it's one of those things you just kind of have to stay on top of, and there's not really much else that you can do except just do what you got to do. This is going to kill a bunch of trees, and, you know, it is what it is. We need to be growing more trees. We will get there. Eventually. So many things to do, and the way that I do these videos really makes it almost impossible to do a playthrough like this, which I have learned is not exactly that good. But no sense not trying our best anyway. We've got thorns that still need to be removed. We have land that we can slowly begin to fill, and we have been working on a lot of that. It's just a slow process. A very slow process. So we have all of these things over here, the cassavas, that are not being harvested, and I think that is most likely because we just don't have enough farmers to take care of all of this stuff. And there's not really a super easy way to handle this, the way this is laid out. I know we're going to have to rip this out at some point. But it's, I don't know, this playthrough has just become one of those things where it's, oh, you can't do this because you have to do this, and then you can't do that because you have to also do this third thing, and then nothing gets done. So I appreciate you bearing with me regardless. This is going to be probably our worst remaining big bad, quote-unquote. And I think that is probably going to need to be a focus sooner rather than later to create that diversion tunnel, trench, whatever you call it. But I thought it would be a smart idea for today to attempt, and I know this bad tide starting isn't really a great way to be dealing with this, but we have bots, so it's not really going to make that big of a difference. We need to get in here, and we need to get these sealed up. We need to get this underground ruins activated, and a little bit more of a reliable production for scrap metal than just relying on all of these things all around the map. Which, hey, it's great that we have access to it, but it's not going to last forever. And the amount of stuff that we're going to want to do with bots is really, really, really going to require that we have as much metal as possible. So now, we have access over here. We're going to get these bots to work on that. We've already kind of talked about what we're doing down there. It's just going to be a little bit messy. But we should be decently okay. We have this area here that is currently kind of dirty from all of this coming in. It may backfill. Kind of hoping it doesn't. But this is a nice little cavern with some power, some aquifers that we can, you know, utilize, and then maybe at some point do something interesting in here. I guess it depends on the appetite for continuing this series past, quote-unquote, the win point and whatever other stuff we have going on. But while they're working on that, we also have our little oak tree cavern that a few of you said would make a pretty good drinking water reservoir. And I am inclined to agree. We just have to figure out a way to get water in there. And, you know, everything above here is just nasty poison. Okay, good. I was about to panic saying, oh, no, it's going to overflow. But, no, it's not. We got another level up there. So we are going to see what we have to get into to fix all the rest of this stuff. Oh, boy. We're making 2,500 HP. Okay. See, bad tides can be kind of good. A little bit. Not necessarily, you know, the best thing ever, but they can be good. And then all of this extra power, in some small way, we are kind of utilizing it, even though most of it's going off the side there. It is coming around this way through here. And soon, this will be connected. We just have to build it one piece at a time because, well, you know, that's how that goes. So, turning our attention back over here, we do, like I said, have a lot that can be filled in. Irrigated, maybe. This might be enough range-wise. Should get us to about here. This will get us to about here, and this is probably fine. I mean, I'm inclined to think that this little swatch right here is going to be the worst extent of not being irrigated. We will see. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff we have to have these guys do, and it's to risk overusing the term like I already have. Just going to take time. So that's going to be on the long-term project list. I've got them pumping. You guys have said a couple of times, oh, just let them pump. Who cares if it runs dry? And, well, okay. We have irrigation. It seems to be okay. We just need to have a little bit more capacity. They obviously can't pump if there's nowhere for the water to go. But instead of building additional capacity, I think I'd rather focus, when we have the time, which is probably not necessarily right now, on building something that makes more sense, reconfiguring, so on and so forth, than just adding more capacity willy-nilly. Because honestly, right now, for less than 100 bio-beavers, this is complete overkill. We're looking good enough that I don't think we have to be super, super worried about it. We do have two-way connectivity around various parts of this little crater here. This reserve warehouse, I believe somebody was asking a question about what we were doing with it. It was just previously holding explosives. It's not really doing any harm, just being here. There were a few other spots that had these, not brambles, that had the thorns that I had elected not really to do much with. But I think on a long enough timeline, we're going to want these things gone, just so we can do a little bit more down here. I do like the idea of getting this crater cleaned up, and I do think it's something we should be doing, but not until after we have all of these other big bads taken care of. So, up here, if we grant them access with a little bit more pathing, they should be able to get rid of all of this stuff. I know that we're going to run into issues with bots being out of power. I say as there are no bots currently out of power. But we'll keep an eye on it. I know I've got a charging station here, right outside the two-way station. We've got charging stations in a few other spots. Should be okay. This is not really a great spot for a charging station anymore just because of, you know, how this is all laid out. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say this can go here and this one can be removed. Just because this is going to be much better for being next to a two-way station. And like I said, they're going to take care of that. We'll get there when we get there. Okay, we're still not... Look at this swimming in the nasty sludge filth. This would be a good candidate for a two-way expansion also. But again, it's one of those things you already know. I don't need to say it. I do think we will get there at some point. But just having this available probably makes more sense without having to, you know, spend an entire episode. Oh, we got to remove this thing one thing at a time. Like, nobody wants to see that anymore. We've already done too much of that. We've got bots that are making bot parts. We have bot assemblers that are almost complete. I am going to pause this one because honestly, we probably don't need to have two of these for right now. We just need to have something that the bots can run themselves. So we no longer have to worry about the biobeavers doing it. And I think that is going to be the best possible way to go about that. We don't have a lot of bot parts down here, which is fine. We have a full storage of dirt. Interesting. I thought they would have certainly done something with that. No, that's not the right button. That was... There we go. Okay, the haulers probably could use a little bit of a boost. I've got 4. I don't have any extra bots right now. No available workers, huh? Well, if I lower the priority on the builders' huts, which I probably should have done anyway, then they should have no problem filling this and starting to make more bots. I think we may need to beef up our production, which is something you guys did mention. And I am, of course, happy to oblige if I am able. Yeah, we don't have any gears. I wonder why that happened. I'll have to unpause the gear workshop. So I wonder if... Let's just take a look here. We definitely need to add more industrial capacity. The question is, how do we want to go about it? And what makes the most sense? Because we know we aren't making enough logs up here. We need to have more tree farms. But this is kind of the whole inhospitable thing, and we have all the poison water coming through here, killing the trees. I don't know that having bots tend forests is really a great long-term strategy, which is kind of why I was hoping this would get a little bit better. So we will probably need to make a pretty concerted effort to improve our tree farming here. Why don't we go ahead now? Take a look at lumberjack flags. We've got 10, and 3 of them are paused. The 7 that are open, okay, that one's our main area, that one's our main area. Also our main area, but kind of far away now from what we're actually cutting. Main area, main area, main area. So they're all in the main area, the ones that are not paused. In theory, 7 should be enough, but I think what has happened is these guys have just been so busy. They never really get into the middle here. I don't know that I really should have these so far away. I just need to figure out a better spot for them to go. It's kind of the eternal problem in one form or fashion over another. I'm not exactly sure what the best thing to do is here. Well, no matter what, we can use another one. Let's just do this. I have an empty spot. I'm going to put one more there. And if I had another one on a path, then maybe... Yeah, putting another one over here probably would not be a bad choice, even though this is not really super important. Because we already have a couple of those there. We'll see what happens. Getting these things filled in is going to help a lot as well. Just need to make sure. Hopefully nobody gets stuck in here. That's like their favorite pastime ever, is to get stuck and then cry about getting stuck. It's like, all right. Just don't do that. Problem solved. Okay, that will have to come back to, where is my... There it is. Okay, they're still working on this. This is a good opportunity for us to actually use our brains. I say us, I mean me. Import planks, and we also have logs available. conveniently blocked by the trees. That seems kind of deliberate, maybe. You were too far away for me to care about this. I'm just going to kill these trees, and we can get these connected, and we'll have more logs available. It just doesn't need to be that complicated. Unstable core in 14 days. Which one is this? That's new. Ah. Well. That is not one that I remember seeing. Okay, so that's going to open this, which goes down all the way to... Wow. Okay, this goes down all the way to here, which drains that way and gets rid of 3 of these. All right. This is a big one. Look at the radius on this thing. Okay, well, 14 days. That is going to be quite the problem to deal with, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to have to... okay, I could actually get away with this if I had a slightly longer overhang, which I have the science to do. Yeah, I just have to have a 4x1 and then move the whole thing back 1 tile, and the station doesn't even have to move. Well, those of you who said this was a bad location for a bad water pump, guess what? You win. So it's going to get moved one way or another. But I'm this is going to end at basically the end of the bad tide, but there's still going to be tons of bad water here. This will be an interesting problem. We may end up having to artificially repair the holes just so we can have, you know, bad water not going in a horrible route. I don't think it's going to really affect too much. Yeah, because we sealed this up. Let's go back down here again. Yeah, because that's going to come down to here, which comes 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 down to here. This is blocked off, very importantly. Does not connect. That goes down there. That is blocked off, and this is a dam. So this is going to drain really slowly and shouldn't be that big of a problem. It's just going to look ridiculous. It's going to be a big problem without being a big problem, if that makes sense. Okay, this has to go away. Yes, that is disconnected. No, it is not the end of the world because we have stairs. Let's get that hooked up. I'm going to reconnect that way. And then, like I said, we'll get those overhangs. Yes, this is going to be super ugly, but I promise you it's going to be okay. Then this just needs to be vertical tube-way. Goes in like that. I do not need that one there. And that should being the operative term, son of a biscuit-eating bulldog. All right, well, can't always be a winner. Sometimes someone just has to lose. That is the way it goes. So now instead of this, I have to move this one more over. Okay, let's try this. Ah, yes. No red overhangs here, boys and girls. Come on, big money. There we go. That's going to go here and here and here. Hopefully, they can get that taken care of. These being removed is unfortunate, but it will overall contribute to this being not quite as big of a problem. They are not making any... Wait, how's that not connected to a district? Ah. I replaced this with a not ladder, and that is how that happened. Okay, well. Now it's connected. That solves that problem. I might as well just go ahead and do that, too. So that should allow them to clear this out. We can make a big old trench. Who got stranded? You are a fool. You'll have to be rescued by this staircase being built. So I guess that is now the thing that we have to do. I was expecting that to be, you know, bots over here doing nonsense. Instead, it's just bots generally doing nonsense. Oh well. Life goes on. This area, like I said, probably could really stand to have another farmhouse. But as I said before, actually, I don't remember if I said this before, but I meant to say it before, so I guess I'll say it now or say it again now, depending on what actually happened in the past. You know, I don't. But I kind of don't want to build any more farmhouses until I rip out most of this down here and redo it. And for that to be a viable thing, I'm going to want to have a just huge quantity of food stored up so that we can survive maybe a whole cycle without having anything grown. So, probably... you know, we've got this space over here that's already kind of polluted. We might as well just allow this to continue getting removed and then build a bunch of food storage. And then come back. Maybe I can make that next episode focusing on this, depending on what else comes up, because I obviously am going to have to put the survival of the colony first. And we have so many other things that are going incredibly slowly. And only so many bots. We've got 18 vacancies for bots. Thankfully, the bot assemblers being run by the bots for the bots. Don't give them unchecked power or there's going to be a robot uprising. But they will they'll go ahead and get that taken care of. Slowly improve what's going on here. And yeah, we're just going to have to... start building more industrial capacity, even though we can't really afford it quite yet. We need another gear workshop. I don't know that we need another plank factory right now, but it's probably not a bad idea to go ahead and build something. This being right here instead of back here is fine. We don't need to worry about it. It will connect here eventually. We just have to, you know, let them do what they gotta do. This actually, yeah, this conducts power because the buildings is not water beavers. The buildings do all conduct power. So we're going to get this industrial lumber mill done. Then, of course, this has to be removed as well, this thorn. And I've got space here to put another thing. Or what I could do, honestly, and even though this is super ugly, it's going to work just fine. Put another gear workshop here. And then we will need another smelter. Yes, this is a hideous, ugly, just disaster of everything. But it's going to be okay. So many thorns that need to be removed. So many things that are just desperately in need of getting fixed. It'll have to come in due time. I've got one bot in here. Yeah, probably best to just let that be what it's going to be. Beavers aren't going to die. We've been pretty safe from that for a very, very, very long time. Now note that I did say, oh, I don't need to worry so much about all of this because we're going to redo it. And then I keep on putting more plants in. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's all going to come out. It's all going to come out. We just have to have everything available space-wise to take care of it. All right. If I'm going to have large warehouses, I'm not going to store unprocessed food anymore than I already have because the goal with this is ripping everything out, including processing. So we will have to have finished food. I really can't put any of these right here. Ugh. All right, I'm down 15. I don't need this builder's hut here. I can at least start the process of putting other stuff in. We could use some more corn ration storage, so I guess I can start with that. We can use some more eggplant ration storage, so that will be another thing for us to get into. I know there's not a two-boy station in this immediate vicinity, but it's going to be okay. This is probably going to end up moving, even though this is already here. We'll see what happens. This probably can actually be directly replaced with storage, but that's going to require we have a different setup for power conveyance. Maybe I don't want to... See, this is exactly why this hasn't happened yet, is because every time I do something, it comes up the wall. You can't do that because bad stuff's going to happen. And that's exactly what has ended up happening. We got 12 days, no more water to pump, so goodbye beavers working in the pumps. That one is actually still able to go. And now I've got extra beavers. Now I've got extra beavers, and they should be working in here, and they are, and I deleted that one for no good reason. All right, well, that's definitely happened before, and it will probably happen again. I think it goes without saying at this point that this bad water pump does not need to have anything else done to it because it's going to be annihilated in 12 days. But after the dust settles and all of the bad water spraying, you know, figures itself out, we will we'll redo part of this area. Making tremendous quantities of power once again. Individual pieces here and there. Just let them do what they got to do, and they will get it done. Obviously, they're working on this to make that a little bit more palatable. We've got this area actually making some decent progress. Not too shabby. This getting filled in is a component of us fixing basically all of this. So why don't we do that? I think it should be okay since we have the beavers able to get around here. This area down here is going to possibly be an annoying problem to get filled in. We don't necessarily have to do this way, but it gives them something to do, and we'll have to babysit it at some point anyhow. Okay, corn rations. Good, they got these things out of here. Where's my eggplant rations? It should be this one on the bottom. Yeah, let's just copy paste that. And then, you know, we don't have a lot of cassava growing. We do have 1,200 in storage. For that reason, I'm going to say, let's just duplicate the corn rations instead. And I had a thought that may or may not actually be a decent thing to do, because I wanted to get these connected somehow, but the way that the two-way alignment also really bugs me, and when I redo this, that's going to get fixed. I just don't know exactly how I want to do it yet. Okay, nothing getting done here. I guess that's to be expected. They're just taking a whole lot of effort over here. These have not been removed, although they are in process. There is no power over here. It is probably going to become necessary for the purpose of, you know, bot survival to just have a charger of some point over here as a priority building, just because, well, we have to be able to charge them. That's just the bottom line. We will get there. I've got 14 injured beavers. I've got enough medical beds, hopefully, for all of that. Yeah, you know, is what it is. We don't need to have the bot assembler, but it's also not really hurting anything being here. It's just there. This is operating. That's good. We are, you know, still kind of low on bots, but this does seem to be working pretty well. We have parts. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. We are looking pretty good. I don't even need to go check over there because I know they haven't done it. They should be, yeah, they're pivoting their attention to doing this, which is all fine and good. We do need that. Who needs water? Is it the shower? Yeah, shower in the swimming pool. Yep, that would make sense. This actually got done a lot faster than I thought. That is encouraging. I do not need that. Go away. And what about down here? They put that in the tunnel. They did. Look at them go. They are getting stuff done. They are doing such a good job. I'm so proud of them. Mostly, when I'm not angry at them. I hope they don't get, you know, completely obliterated by basic pathfinding doing this. You and I both know what's going to happen, because it usually does. But again, getting this filled in is going to be really great. We may end up also filling in these things and having some sort of better distribution for it. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it would be a good excuse to have an entire, you know, planning episode. I don't know. Let me know what you guys want to see. I'm not really good at doing those kind of things, and I feel like to a certain degree it makes me a bad, quote-unquote, Timberborn YouTube player. YouTube Timberborn player. I don't play YouTube on Timberborn. I play Timberborn on YouTube. Anyway, I don't know. I don't need to relitigate this. I think I've said 3 lifetimes worth of my piece about it. But I appreciate you guys sticking with things anyway. This is connected. Everything is looking okay. We've got one more piece here. And then I believe, yeah. Should be able to put another wheel in. Obviously, it's not going to generate a ton of power after the bad tide's over and these 3 sources are gone, but it will still generate enough to be useful. What about over here? Do we have... Okay, not quite. But things are progressing. 47% is not increased. They're managing somehow to do this without bad things happening. I've got coffee beans. I do not have any storage for them. I know this is not a great spot for it, but it's the spot that I've got. And even though we're going to rip all this stuff out, for the time being, I do feel like we need to have coffee. So we will go ahead and get a coffee brewery going. Build a tank for coffee. Even though, yes, this is going to go away at some point. Maybe I shouldn't put it here then. Maybe I should put it further out. I'll put it here. Because this is less likely to be directly in the way, and it is not land that I will need to terraform. Yeah, it's kind of far away from this, but you know what? It's going to be okay. Life goes on. Did they put those in? They are working on it. Just one little piece at a time. I almost made mistakes. That one does not need to be built until the ones behind it are built. Which, theoretically, it can't do anyway, but this game surprises you in really awful ways sometimes. Some more soybeans. We do actually have a growing number of some of these things. Cassava, not so much, but we're working on it. Okay, we still have 13 vacancies, but oh, well, we were at 30 and then it was 29 and now it's 30 again, so, you know, who knows what to believe. Probably worth getting a grease factory up and running at some point soon, but I would like to have a little bit more stable resource production. One thing we definitely should do right here is put in a control tower so that these bots working on all these things can get that nice boost. And I think the science production is good enough for us to have another control tower over here. They are kind of expensive, and they do draw down 3 science per whatever the unit is, hour. But we're also making a decent amount of science. I can turn this number cruncher on. We are making enough to run that now. Okay, this is ready. Let's get this out of the way. One more here. And then we're going to add another... Oh, I don't even know. This says 8,100. This is going to make it over 10. It's going to be maybe closer to 11,000 HP. It could be over 11. Not entirely sure. We'll see what happens. Have they gotten this all the way up? Yes, they have. Okay. Now this is where this is going to get interesting, he says, knowing that it's already interesting. We've got a single dynamite at a time, ready to get yeeted, deleted. Oh, I already talked a couple episodes ago, maybe multiple times, about how I'm planning to fix this. It would be great to do this during a bad tide, so that we know for sure how we're going to make stuff. But I can't get it. I can't like walk on top of this, so we will have to tunnel around the outside, and that is going to allow us to get in. I think that's basically... Yeah, I'm going to have to go all the way out here. In fact, these don't need to be tunnels. Yeah, okay. The ones that are coming directly out of the wall do need to be tunnels, but this one can be dynamite and be just fine. This one can also be dynamite and be just fine. This one, until that blockage is gone, does have to be a tunnel. I don't think there's another one from this side. No, it's just those 3. Alright. Well, this is going to be one of those things that just has to be constantly monitored. We will get there. We have coffee coming in. What's this well-being looking like? Okay, mangrove fruits. I would like to, when we redo this crater, have a dedicated space just for mangrove fruit farming, because it is nice to be able to max everything out. And I don't want to build the aquatic gardens, hydroponic gardens, until we have a better idea of what everything's going to look like, but I do want to make everything. Dance pit can also be built at that time. We can have an area for swimming pools. If you remember the Project 1K, which, oh man, I kind of regret mentioning that because now I'm getting people, when are you going to do the next episode? Like, it's going to take me like 3 weeks worth of work to make one episode, and I just do not have the time. Not right now. It will be finished. I promise you it will be finished. I just cannot say when. That being said, if you remember in that series, I kind of combined the swimming pools and the mangrove area. And since the mangroves have to be submerged up to a certain depth anyway, and the swimming pools require water, it just makes sense to combine those into one whole thing of dumping a bunch of water into it to make sure that it will work. And, you know, that's just one of those things we'll have to keep an eye on. Just depends on what we're able to do. So let's continue best we can on taking care of the rest of these little things. I know this is tedious. I appreciate your patience. Just have to keep on looking after everything. Wow, up to 37 bots quick. That's good, because I really wanted this to be taken care of before it became a problem. This, we are not likely going to be able to save much else. Tell you what, I've got 400 and that's a very specific number. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the bad water pump just because, well, it's going to get deleted anyway. So, oh, it's going to get rid of a couple of the pesky thorns, so I don't have to worry about those anymore. This is now connected. Look at that. We are making 16,000 HP. That won't be permanent, because of course it won't. But it's nice that it's working. Okay, still no beaver bot working here in the forester. This area, again, once we have a better handle on how this is set up, and we can make sure that this will be a lot less likely to pollute stuff, then I will feel a lot better about how this is set up. But I don't want to do this during a bad tide to blast out around this and then completely encase it in levees, just because there's so much that can go wrong. And then when it's not a bad tide, I forget about it. So there you go. That's why that hasn't been done. Once again, we have to babysit this, but we're almost through this part. I just had to get the stuff that I couldn't see taken care of first, so I don't accidentally, you know, trap bots, trap beavers. There's still bots over here. I already forgot which pieces I had to still put in here. Okay, no, that's fine. Alright, 3 days for that unstable core. We already talked about it. This is... Really? It's out of range? Seriously? I'm not really going to be able to get over there. That's a little bit of a problem. Okay, this needs one more here. I thought this was going to be... It's going to be fine, because that has to be removed. They have to be able to get up here. Alright, well, I didn't really want to do this, but I'll just put a ladder in. Why not? We're going to have to get something done eventually. 3.5 days left. Lag. Where was I? Wrong side of the map, wrong side of the map, wrong side of the map, wrong side of the map. How did I manage to go? Oh, I was on the right side. There we go. This is what we need to be taking care of. It's the biggest priority. This is actually a pretty old dynamite in terms of when it was placed. So I imagine they're going to be doing this first. This blockage is probably fine to leave here and just seal up accordingly. I just know this isn't very interesting to watch, just me babysitting this stuff. So I am going to kind of time-lapse a little bit of this just for a moment, trying to get these things detonated and get bots in here to actually make what I've been talking about making. So we'll catch back up in just a moment, and you'll see exactly what we're able to get done. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this last dynamite exploded here. I know there's a couple more, but we are about to have this tremendous explosion. And I know you want to see it. So, oh, you got nothing to do in range, huh? Well, I guess that's alright. We'll get you taken care of later, but I am just so curious as to what this is going to look like when this finally actually explodes. So here's hoping none of the bots get destroyed. I don't think they're going to have any reason to go down there. But it's about that time. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. That's a huge hole. Get that thing filled all the way up. And then that is going to surge a little bit. Shouldn't splash over here. But now, this has stopped. It's going to kind of slosh around a little bit. This may actually, because it's almost the end of the bad tide anyway, end up lowering the level here. Now, but we still have this bad water source. We have that one. We have that one. We have that one. We have that one. And, of course, we have these two big ones over here. What's it looking like? Okay, this'll catch back up. We're still making tons and tons and tons of power. But I digress. Let's come back over here. We have a lot of work to do, and I don't want to waste too much more time. So, what I said earlier, a couple episodes ago, about getting this sealed up was that we would just need to have a good enough seal with an impermeable floor and then stuff on either side, and then this will basically never be a problem ever again. And then the rest of these do kind of the same thing, just once we get everything situated appropriately. It's not going to happen before the end of the bad tide, but we are making strides toward getting that done, which is good. This, of course, is full of nasty water that will be drained at some point. I think we have, yeah, this coming in from the top, and this giant mess here, this bad water source, will eventually stop. By eventually, I mean another 0.7 days. This is running. This will not be making enough power to really run this too much longer, but it's nice to have one of these. Now we have another unstable core in 27 days. And that one has stuff going on here. That's another big one. Ah, okay, this is that one that I was kind of worried about earlier. Maybe now not quite so much. But it seems like this could be reasonably defeated in terms of relevance by just capping this bad water source or diverting around it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is probably mostly a nothing burger. Just because this piece of land is going to go away does not mean I can't just cover it like that. And now you can't even see it. So, oh, there's no accessibility anywhere near here. Well, we have 27 days. I do have a ladder coming up to here. I don't want to remove this for what should be obvious reasons. Maybe, since I have a ladder already, maybe the best thing to do would be to just stick one of these in here. And then give the, yeah, those biobeavers have a project to do. It's not going to kill them. I never unlocked spiral stairs after all this time. Well, guess what? Now we have spiral stairs. Let's get that thorn out of the way. They are going to be upsetty spaghetti about it, but guess what? Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Might as well try and get them to remove all of these trees anyway, because we know we're going to want that. This will end up being a decent spot to have a lumberjack. Not a great one, but yeah, better than nothing. So I'll just leave two of these guys here. That should be fine. They will complete this at their leisure. I'm sure they are bored to tears and would love something to do, so there you go. Yeah, I'm just going to continue slowly filling the rest of this stuff in. Coffee continues. We've got 251 there. We've got very nice full storage of most of these things. I think this is probably going to be good enough for under 100 beavers. At least for a cycle or two, and we can always reset up a bunch of that stuff if it's going to be a huge problem. That feels like a good enough spot there. I'm up to 68 bots. Now I got bots with nothing to do. Oh, no, 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 no. We're going to get you something to do. Don't you worry about that. Don't worry about that. Okay, now we're down to only 11. Probably not a bad idea to get... Why is this... Oh, no, that's 11 extra biobeavers. It's 42 bots. Why am I... Alright. It's alright. This... Okay, good. This is cleared out. Let's see Yeah, this hasn't been activated yet, but again, when it does, it's probably not going to be very fun. We should start to consider getting these things removed, the spires. And I know I said something in a couple of episodes ago, maybe even toward the beginning of the series, about just tunneling through here. It might actually be more work to do that than to just climb the top of some of these and, you know, blast them down. So I probably am just going to blast down the single highs that I can and just let it be what it's got to be. We'll see what we can get ourselves into. As long as this is all on the correct level. I know it's not going to be tremendously exciting or whatever, but it's going to be a lot easier this way. Let's get that going there. Remember, this is a long-term project, not a guaranteed, oh, we're going to get this all done in one fell swoop here. No, this is just me, you know, making a very, very soft, unfirm commitment to doing literally anything. So we will, we'll get there in due time. So that'll give him something to chew on for a little bit of time. We know it's going to be pretty easy to just blast a huge thing down. We can do triple dynamite down. We could do, I don't know, however wide it needs to be. We'll just figure it out when we need to figure it out. Where was this other thing? It's hard to see. Okay, they haven't done this because it's too far from a... Ah, because the stairs aren't done. Well, that's fine. The rest of this is looking okay. The crops are doing fine. They're not doing great, but they are doing fine. And now it's cycle 21, which means it's about time to pump, and we've got a lot of extra beavers. So we might as well preemptively turn on all of these pumps, even though they cannot all pump. And these, what, 11 of these will suck up the remaining extra beavers and then take some out of the builder's hutch, which was always the plan anyhow. So now that the bad tide stuff has been turned off, these are going to be substantially less power. And this is also draining way down here through the exit of this hole into here. And it's actually... Oh, it's leaving the map this way. Well, we will have to do something about that later. I need to make sure that this is still going reasonably well. Okay, for kaboom. We already knew we kind of had this mess. They should be able to reach that. This will continue draining. This won't drain until there's a passage opened up, and I do think we're going to want to do that. But not before we completely make it impossible for this to do anything horrible ever again. Another one of those things that we will just have to wait for. Bad water source in 15 days. Where's this one? Okay, down here in the canyon, that so far has not really been a problem. That's draining down there. We already knew that was a thing. We got stuff coming in here. That's fine. This area back here is still looking decent. And like I said, this will be probably a pretty good spot for a freshwater reservoir. Just have to figure out how to get something in there. There is not a aquifer in here. There are some kind of up above. But there's currently... Oh, this is weird looking. There's currently a lot of bad water up here. And we've got our work cut out for us. Okay, so this lumberjack is out of stuff to do. We have all of these thorns. This would not be a bad spot to kind of try to develop, except there's so much poison absolutely everywhere. So, in pursuit of getting these guys to do something, let's just make a kind of straight line path for a two-way. Come all the way out here. Connect to somewhere around here. Not be a horrible, horrible mistake. That'll give them something to do. I think I can give them... Yeah, they should be able to do almost all of that with that path. This guy is too far away. And... moving this down here will help. They'll get us most of the rest of those marked for cutting. Not all of them. Soon. Yeah, look how little power these are making now. Oh, yeah, we're going to have to rebuild this. We are going to have to. I know that sounds really stupid. We're just going to have to do it. Because I want to be able to make power, and this is draining too much. Too much. So I have access to a piece of land here. That going all the way around is going to be too high. So I don't want that height. The bottom of this trench here is going to only allow me to get to that bit. I think I can do this. I think I can send them down here. And then maybe, without it being too much of a pain in the butt, get this to extend somewhere else. I'm going to have probably some sort of pillar, like right here in the middle. Why don't you just fill all of this up? Well, I don't have that much dirt. And also, I don't think it really matters. This is just a stopgap thing to try and make more power before we eventually do something else. We can always, you know, come back and fill this in if we really feel like it. I don't think we're going to need to. Actually, you know what? If I don't do this now, then I am absolutely certain there's going to be a few of you who are going to be very upset. My future self included. So. Oh, yeah. Yep. This is exactly why I never get anything accomplished at all. Because I just keep doing this kind of garbage. Easy thing to do is just close this up like that, and then I think that will stop the draining. And then at that point I can do something else. 4x1 suspension, not long enough. I've got enough science to get these. That wasn't even a 4x1, it was a, not a 4x1. Okay, that one will work there. I've just got to have a... Why do you stop in the middle of sentences? I don't know. If I did, I'd tell you why. I never figured it out. That will be the easiest way to just stop this from draining so we can actually make power. Now I need to come over here. It's always dark when I'm trying to do this stuff. Okay, that is almost complete. I've got this here slowly being worked on. I think this might be... Oh, it's not an issue of being out of range. It's just an issue of me not remembering to do it correctly. Okay, that is not the right section here. This needs to be blasted out. There we go. I knew there was something I was missing. I wonder if they're going to be able to do this fast enough. Well, I guess we'll find out. Food is looking good. Water is fine. It's not looking great, but it's a little better than we need. We're pumping. We're going to fill up probably before the end of this. Okay, they're working on that. That was what I was going to be curious about them being able to do. I think they can do all of that without too much weeping or gnashing of teeth. I'm going to go ahead and fill this in just because I can. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. If I put this down here, then I can also... Yeah, I can also just have this whole thing filled in like so, and then once that's done, I can just fill in the same entire level there. Shouldn't be that bad. Probably. Let's come back over here. Okay, progress is being made. Can't really be upset about that. Yeah, you know, for lack of anything else better really to do, I'm going to just time-lapse this again. I can't even talk right. And just get this knocked out so we can actually have this taken care of before the end of the episode. So I'll catch back up with you in just a moment after these bots do a little bit more work excavating and getting stuff in place here. And then hopefully we'll be in a little bit of a better spot. With the drought approaching, no less. Alright, so I guess it's 3 days regardless. Alright, we have a 22-day drought. These bots are a lot slower at working than I thought they would be. And we're not really that much closer to getting anything accomplished here, which is regrettable. But this is going to give us a good opportunity to figure out exactly what we want to refocus. I'm going to say this would be a good time for us to go ahead and replant some oak trees. 22 days is, in theory, enough for this to evaporate. But anything is better than nothing. Usually. And these have to be replanted anyway. So this lumberjack flag can go ahead and be paused because there's nothing to cut. Get a bot back and working on everything else they can instead. Power supply isn't quite good enough to be running all these number crunchers, so I'm going to manually pause this one. We still don't have a warning about this thing going off. We do have, of course, this unstable core and the bad water source that we've been thinking about. Where is the thing I was going to be working on? Did they put this piece in to drain? It looks like they did. Very good. Alright, so this is where we're trying to go. Ah, yes. That is what I was attempting to do. I need to put in a staircase here. And this will be a very long and frustrating process, I'm sure, to get up here without, you know, having to get the beavers to do the thorn removal. But it is what it is. I don't know how many more times I can say that before people are going to, you know, come hunt me for sport, but that's fine. Go ahead and get, I guess, these bits here. I've actually gotten a decent amount of this thing filled in. I'm feeling pretty good about that. For the sake of nobody getting caught in here, I'm going to put this terrain block in place first so that nobody can get... Actually, I could just take the stairs out. That would have gotten the same amount of stuff done. What am I doing? Come on, autosave. Thank you. And yeah, that is set up mostly correctly. How in the world did you get stuck here? Oh, man. You're killing me. You're absolutely killing me. Well, you're free now. It's like the... it's like that episode of SpongeBob with the National Free Balloon Day or whatever. It's like, we stole a balloon! And then they throw him in jail for like 10 seconds and the cops just laugh at him. It's like, okay, yeah, that's exactly what happened here. I think we need to keep this so they can actually get up here to do some of this, but that's coming together. This is actually looking a lot better than I thought it would be in terms of irrigation. Yeah, I think, we may want to, when we rip this out to reconfigure, kind of build around a big central reservoir instead of trying to, you know, do something underground. Although I do like this idea. This is not really super feasible right now. We can put maybe like a structure in the middle here that we can fill up with the help of these aquifer drills, just like enclose this, make it real tall, and then just store a bunch of water. We'll see. I do know there's a lot of other people who've played this map. I have intentionally not watched those videos because I don't want to subconsciously steal their ideas. But I will accept your input. See what you want me to do with some of this. I've got kind of an idea. I was thinking while I was sitting there waiting for the beavers to... The bots, actually, not the beavers, to do stuff during that time lapse that didn't actually get anything done. And I think I've got a pretty decent idea, but we'll see what I remember that I thought about when we get around to it in the next recording. But for now, you just got to keep on keeping on. We've made just a decent amount of progress with this, and now all I've got to do really is just block this thing off. It actually doesn't have to be with the levee, but why not? We'll just go ahead and do it anyway. So that's going to be blocked off. That's going to be blocked off. This is going to be K for kaboomed. And then this here, once that is done, can be... Wait, did I already... I did put an impermeable floor, and it does need that? Yes, okay. And then once that's done, I can just put a regular levee here. That's the only way I'm going to be able to get it to seal off, so we can't go around this side of this. Well, that's fine. It's going to be necessary for us to drain this, and then I am going to have to go back and check on that other thing that's going to explode, because I would like to avoid that cavern from getting flooded, but I don't remember exactly what I need to do. Well, this is good enough progress for right now on that. I think that should be okay. Ah, that's right, it was this. Why can I not remember anything? That's very upsetting. Alright, this is going to be a little bit of a roundy-roo solution. I don't want to send them, obviously, through the bad water here. But it shouldn't be that big of a deal to get through this. I do want to try and preserve a lot of this wood, but let me check and see. Oh, I've got 1,100 wood. I no longer care. It is completely irrelevant to save every single piece of wood. What matters is actually, you know, getting these beavers to do literally anything that's going to benefit them. Thank you, autosave. Yeah, this is just going to have to be what we do. Just build a path, get them through it, and move on. Yeah, that's just what it's going to be. They're going to take their sweet time doing it because, you know, that's how it works. That's going to be alright. This is not being worked on because they can't get materials. Okay, is there something going on with this, or is it just slow? Okay, well, you know, I guess that's fine. I only have one bot working here because we still kind of have a deficit of bots. But what we do have, look at all these individual cave for kabooms we can do. Don't you love to see it? I do. Some of these could even be G6 for kabooms. I keep forgetting that I did that. There we go. A couple of G6 for kabooms for you. Alright, so, you know, we're, oh, there's more. I forgot. We're doing our part. We're getting some things accomplished. Having a little bit of fun along the way. Eventually, I would like to have this all cleared out, but you know how that goes. So let's leave that alone, come back and check on this to make sure this is doing most of what we wanted it to do. That I'm going to consider sealed up. That and that I'm also going to consider sealed up. Now to get around the outside of this, we have to come over here and... Come on. Get that, get that, get that. And then this is going to go into this cavern, but this is a huge mess. I can't really go underneath this. But if I have this taken care of, I could pretty easily... Yeah. What is under this that I can't... Oh, it's not what's under it, but it's what's under it. That doesn't make any sense. I know. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. I'm going to say this, assuming this isn't going to fill up. We do have this ancient aquifer drill that might want to be connected, but for now, this is probably going to be the easiest way to get in here. Just go straight that way. But for all intents and purposes, we have mostly completed the mission of make this accessible and viable. I would like to have a two-way station in here. But remember that the default two-way station is quite large. And I believe requires a... Come on, autosave. That was just lag. There it is. 2 by 3 by, I think, 3 space. Because of the dome on the top. So, not to say that we can't do it, but it's going to require a little bit of planning. And I definitely need to be able to get into this building, and I need to be able to get through here. So it's going to make the most sense, I think, to just put something kind of right here. It'll have to be moved back a little bit because I have to put 2 ways through this. Yeah, let's do this. That's not going to tolerate me not having a space above it. We're going to remove these because we have to put the thing in, but I have to have it in place so I can actually tunnel, because tunnels have to be supported from beneath. Okay, that's actually maybe concerning here. No? Okay, well, it's going to have to be good enough. I think I can get by with putting a ladder in here, and that should allow them to get tall enough to do that. Yeah, this seems like it'll be okay. Let's leave that alone and come back later. Okay, stuff over here. I've got a little bit more land I can put in place. And eventually we can fill this trench in. I'm just kind of waiting. This over here doesn't connect to anything, does it? No, it does not. Alright, very good. That can be just like that, since we don't have any way to get down there, and that's not a problem. This is never going to flood again because we made good choices. And I believe that this will take care of 99% of that. Same kind of deal. And again, we're probably going to rip all these irrigation things out and completely redo it, so on and so forth. We will see, because as you know, it just takes time. Trees are planted for the most part. It's looking okay. We could probably do slightly better if we really wanted to. But now that I've got, not demolish buildings, now that I've got this space over here that is not crazy polluted, I do think it's going to be worth our while to clear this out of all these thorns, not brambles, so we can have a little bit more space. I am going to just wholesale get rid of these things, because I don't care about saving the rest of these little tiny trees. It's not worth the work. Alright, so 19-day drought, 22 days. As this evaporates, honestly, it's probably fine to just go ahead and do it. As we remove these things, I do, like I said, want to dig this up completely, surround these things completely with the levees and all that. It's just not necessarily a simple prospect, because it's going to have to be all of this, which is going to be... Yeah, there's trees in the way. Let's just cut this off. Right, like that. I don't think I need to cry about losing a couple of oak trees for a short period of time. Just more important that this actually functions and does correctly. We don't need to be able to get back over here anyhow. They can take alternate paths. Alright, how deep are we here? So that's 1, 2, 3. I guess it's probably through. Let's research the triple dynamite. I do have extract. Started working on that. I'm just gonna start with this, and we'll see what opens up and what doesn't. It's obviously not going to explode the bad tide drain, but I do want to completely surround it. So we'll have to let that be what it's going to be. That's... yeah, they haven't gotten over there yet. These over here, these thorns cannot be removed unless you are down on that level, or close enough to that level where it is no longer a problem. So probably the easiest thing to do is going to be to just send them on down here, and then once those are removed, we can do a little bit more recovery work. Why are you going through all this trouble to do this when it doesn't really matter? Well, you know, it's something to do, and I do want this to actually be a viable, pollution-free tree farm, and I'm pretty sure surrounding it completely with the levees is the only way to do that. Could always be wrong. I've been wrong before, and I will be wrong again. You can rest assured of that. But there is no harm in trying and utilizing... well, some of you might not think I have that much knowledge about this, and you might be right, but I do like to try things. Alright, so that's about done. Yeah, these guys really need the ability to generate power for themselves, and this is not making any because it's a drought. So that's unfortunate. Who's got nothing to do in range? You guys down here and you up here. Well, you know what? You managed to basically clean cut this whole thing. Let's just get rid of that entirely. Send you back down doing something else. Are we lacking in bot parts, or are we lacking in supplies to build more bot parts? It seems like the answer is we're actually not lacking that bad. I'm surprised. I thought this was going to be much worse, because there are a couple of you that said you really need to expand your industrial capacity to make more bots. And yeah, you know, you're absolutely correct. However, we seem to be doing mostly okay. So that is comforting there. K for kaboom, K for kaboom. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was trying to do. I need to have... I can't blast underneath, which is unfortunate. But... yeah, I would really love to go just completely surround it, but the best I'm going to be able to do is just to fill this all up completely with levees. Lock, stock, and barrel. Because I can build on top of them, absolutely no problem, and then I can put dirt on top of this, and it'll be like it never even happened. That should for most of our purposes, take care of everything. I also need to take this piece out. And then I can just put, like I was saying, fresh dirt on top, and no one will be the wiser. This is going to maybe require a little bit of finagling to get done, but they'll get it done. Okay, so this is all looking decently okay. This was the main concern. I know I've said this a bunch of times, but it helps me stay on task, kind of, if I keep repeating stuff. Okay, this is done. Let's go ahead and just remove this completely. I'm going to have to remove the path. That did not work at all. There we go. And if we fill the trench with stuff, if they can't access the bottom of it, then it doesn't matter because everything will get pushed up to the top. And we won't have quite so many problems. Alright, that is going to be a big help, getting that filled in. I'm probably going to end up doing a lot of this as well. But for now, things are looking okay. We can, at some point, just completely stop all the bad water from getting in here, and we probably will want to. Thank you, autosave. We will get there when we get there. Okay, for kaboom. Ah. Choices were made. Okay, let's see if I can get away with this. Permeable floor down there, and then a platform, and then on top of the platform. Levee or impermeable floor will accomplish the same thing in this regard because the irrigation barrier does not really function correctly underground. And let's see. I am pretty sure this might be a little overkill and kind of wasteful of wood, but I'm going to choose for this not to be a problem. This is empty space that is not filled with anything, huh? Okay, well that's fine. I do want to have this bottom of this as impermeable floor so that it does not pollute. Okay, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, just like the other ones. All right. Just doing our best to fix all this one piece at a time. I don't think I need to have them get... No, too late. They're already down there. I can fix that real quick by just taking these out. No harm except for using large quantities of wood that we maybe don't necessarily need to. But it's all in service of getting this to be slightly less terrible. And I think we can all stand behind that. Okay, for the boom. You'll love to see it. Oh, I actually went a little bit too low, but that is not necessarily a bad thing. Oh, this one's actually a block higher. That's what it was. I wonder if... Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think I can put dirt right on top of that, and it shouldn't. Communicate contamination. Well, we're going to find out. Thank you, lag, not autosave. Let them take care of most of that. I think I can help them along slowly by putting this in. Come back to that at a later point in time. Let's check on this. Okay, we are looking better. Let's go all the way down. Yes, we are going to replace this with tubeways, like I said. What about this area? Is actually... Okay, they can't reach that because I misjudged. Ah, yeah, because they have to be able to get underneath this, and they can't because I didn't give them the ability to do that. Okay. Well, that's pretty squarely my fault. I shouldn't be upset about it. Let's just get that in place, and then I can expand my, what's it called? A ladder. There you go. Maybe we don't need the third height. I can't really tell you. But, wait a minute. Hold on. If I have that come out, that's 1, that's 2. I don't need this. I do not need this at all. So this is the part where we find out if I was actually correct or if I was horribly and comedically wrong. I know you're all waiting with bated breath, as one does. Let's do this. So this, because of the geometry of the tunnels here, may end up being a station here and then just a path over to here. Or I may end up putting another thing in, but I definitely want a station here that the two-way can just go into. Just need them to be able to do the rest of this and move right along. So we'll come back to this in a little bit. I do want to go back over here to this area. Yeah, this is already, we've got 9 days left. We're already down to the last block here. That'll get a, oh, what's the word called? Fluid dump, discharge, whatever they call it now. To keep that up, I may end up terraforming this considerably. Just depends on what we're trying to do. We've got 46 bots. We're actually at equilibrium on jobs, which is nice to see. And they are, you know, oh, they're probably just using the charger mostly. Nobody's in that. We have 7 bots out of power. It's probably because of all this junk we're doing over here that I should be doing with two-ways. And I did say that I was going to get two-ways in, and I have not done so. So that is going to be a very easy thing for us to just go ahead and start doing. Probably straight the way across here, although it's going to run into issues. Okay, I've got a 6x1 overhang. I can get across that pretty easily. I don't think we're going to need to really worry too much. I just need to be able to continue. But they can build from inside the two-ways. I just need this piece of thord removed. Let's make that a priority demolition. Oh, this episode's already too long. Well, we will have to end at some point kind of soon, but I did want to get a good start for the rest of this before we did so. I should probably check and see on my list of stuff here. Yeah, I talked about that. Well, the whole moving housing somewhere further away and redo farms in the center is going to end up transforming into just redo the whole thing, so I guess that counts. Talked about the unstable core. We watched a couple of those go off. Checked about a couple more things. Yeah, I think most of the concerns you guys have addressed regarding this playthrough are going to be, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, taken care of within the next couple of episodes. And if they aren't, then, well, you know, that's showbiz. But this should be a little bit easier to get into. I should also be able to build, I think that's gonna, no, come on. Yes. I know I can build that from the ground level and just have these guys keep going through the sky, just like so. Getting over the brambles is probably going to be fine. I know it's going to use a lot of, that's the wrong one. I know it's going to use a lot of materials, but this will end up being faster in the long run. And all I have to do is get this section, this piece right here, removed for, actually that piece too. Put in overhangs, that's going to come out to there, which means this one has to come out to there, which means this one can, okay, so that one, I'm going to put a path there so I remember what goes where, and then I can just remove these couple of trees. Then this here, it's going to be decent, and it is faster to do this than clearing out all the thorns, brambles, whatever you want to call them. Might not be, you know, theoretically the best way to do it, but it is a way that is not going to involve quite so much weeping or gnashing of teeth. Alright, this is ready to, almost ready to explode, but we'll go ahead and do it anyway. And now, the moment of truth. Can I fit a two-way station underground like this? Survey says yes. So that is a very, very happy discovery. Connected to there. Probably should go ahead and research the mine, although it's going to be a very long-term construction project. And I forgot I have to have stuff. Well, it's fine. We're gonna just let this be what it's gotta be. Alright. Not expecting this to be a tremendously quick process. We know they have to have the ability to take care of all this stuff. Power is an issue. I do have chargers here next to the two-way station, and we know they're going to be able to relatively quickly access that. It's just that the the bots who are walking are going all the way around here. That's not going to fly. Even if we are, you know, using slightly better pathing, they still have to be connected for it to matter. So this is now a priority. This is really going to make this a lot faster, having this accessible here. I should have done that a long time ago, and I did not. Well, is what it is. We are doing our best, and that is what matters. Did I line this up right? I did. Okay. There is something really satisfying about seeing just the arrow straight two-way go all the way across a whole mess of a thing here. Alright. Did they build this? They are working on it. Okay. Now, it's going to be a while before we can actually get two-ways all the way in, but I am going to do my best to get that taken care of. It's not going to be this episode, because we're already at about an hour and a half, and that is probably approaching too long. So I guess now is probably about the right time for us to start doing end-of-episode stuff as they're working on getting this area accessible. I appreciate you guys sticking with the series. I know some of it's been really frustrating, and it's been frustrating for me too, because I really want to do a good job with these. But, you know, stuff is just the way that it is, and I kind of am up against the wall with about the maximum amount of time and effort I can put into these videos right now. And I'll admit these have not been as good as I wanted them to be, and I know a few of you have expressed that they're not as good as you would like them to be either, and I'm trying. We're going to get there. I know it's taking a little bit longer than you might prefer, but I think the end result is going to still be pretty fun, pretty enjoyable, and I do want to still continue seeing this through to completion. But I have to, of course, acknowledge the beard boosters who subsidize everything we're doing here, make it possible for me to justify saying, you know what, I legitimately have no more time left this week to do anything except my non-YouTube obligations, and that's what happened this past week. So those folks help keep the lights on, so to speak, and make it possible to just do what I have to do without worrying quite so much about the algorithm absolutely destroying me if I miss a couple days. So I always appreciate them, and I appreciate you too, even if you're not on that list. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again in this series. Math is hard. Saturday? Yeah, I think that should be when the next video of this one comes out. But I digress. We'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.